Ron, one of the other things, of course, that you could do is set a reserve fund up to store money away over the next however many years. And that's another option, a way to finance it.
For non-apparatus, for other equipment.
For other equipment.
Actually apparatus, because definition of apparatus.
We'll write it.
Anything you need to do your job.
Our fine legal experts, and we will write it better next time.
A little more clear.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to ask the comptroller about that reserve account to see if that's even an option or not, because that's a good idea.
Jim, first for stopgap, we know we have packs, even though they're getting old and will be wearing out, but we do have them. And so back to it again, how many bottles do we have again? 20, that won't be, at the end of February, we're gonna stand 39 will be gone.
39.
We still have, we'll have 23 or whatever the number is, plus the one, how many we get from Appalachian again?
3.
Would it, if we have to do a stopgap for our, hopefully short period of time, would it be a good idea to try and reach out to the rest of the southern tier to see who else might have some bottles, just as Appalachian had some?
Been doing that, not having any luck.
Not working well.
Is there any, like I know these
National.
Right, they said they would sell them on the auction sites or...
Yeah, but 9 times out of 10, if they're in the auction site, they're expired. That's
Right.
why the fire departments are getting rid of them.
I don't know if we could get ones that are a year from expired or whatever, I mean.
Yeah, I can keep looking. I was on that site today and there's nothing on there.
Just something as bad as us until we figure this out. Then you're gonna check. I know, so the number we have is 25 packs. The reason we have 25 packs is there's 22 seats in our trucks. And we were talking earlier that there more than likely is a standard that says you need 1 pack per seat.
Yes, and I
Try and find that as to why we would need 25.
When we applied for this grant last year, and once again, we're hopeful because of the professional help we're going to get this time around. When we applied for it last year, when did we find out? When did they announce? When did we find out that we didn't get it?
So each year differs, but last year I think announcements started in August and ran until December.
Okay.
So there's different rounds.
So we're not going to be able to wait to hear, but we at least won't have that risk where we bought it before we apply for the grant.
Correct.
Not that that's a great thing, but that's timing wise, that's how it's going to work. You know what I mean? We'll have applied for the grant plenty of time prior. Did we verify with the grant company that that's a thing?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
So basically, we gotta wait till we get prices on moms, right? Toward the moon.
And we're gonna find out if we can or cannot use the reserve account to make some of the loan payments. Because that, I mean, that changes a lot. We gotta come up with the money somewhere, you know what I mean? No matter, even if we did take a loan, we gotta figure out where to come up with money. Or even if we bought bottles, we gotta figure out where to come up with the money. So if we can use the reserve account, that helps. If we can't, then we gotta figure out somewhere else to come up with it.
So there is some feeling from the board, different people, different feelings, that if we can muddle by, we would like some more time to figure out where we're going to be with money in our budget this May, June, when we do that budget. There's some feeling on that. So that we can decide how much money we can afford to pay for shortages in EMS, how much money we can afford to pay for various things with the fire department, how much money we can pay for the police department, which is incredibly low, man. All this, those are all the safety ones, those are first, and then other places such as full-time code officer. Anyway, there's a feeling that we'd like to have a better feel of how much money we've got coming in, how much money we've got going out, how much money we're gonna have for a tax cap, and what we're gonna do with this, everything together, before we decide whether we can spend $200,000, $50,000, or what we can do, and what we need, and what we can afford. There's some feeling of that.
Yeah, because the 2% is not really 2%, it's based on inflation and all that kind of stuff.
And they said the schools is gonna be under 2, which means we're gonna be under.
We're gonna be under 2,
But-
we're way under probably.
Which is why I was asking about the packs and the bottles and stuff. We don't wanna not have the equipment, we're trying to,
It's gonna be a rough budget year.
we're trying to get to a place where we
I completely understand.
where we make the best balance.
Out of 60 original cans, you have 20 left, so it's been like 15 years,
So what again?
10 or 15 years since those 60 bottles were purchased.
39 of them were 15 years ago.
Okay, so there's still 20 left, so like that's really good management over that many years of all those bottles.
It's not that the bottles are worn out, they're past legal usage.
Yeah.
But there's still 20 some that are good. And they're
Because
gonna be good.
Because they were purchased later, not because they didn't wear out. These things do wear out and break and things,
Yeah,
but
the bottles were purchased later. We had a truck that was in an accident, so we got a few packs off that, stuff like that. That's why they were broken up.
Okay, so there's 39 going out the end of the month, right? And then next
End of
year there's
February.
another 10 expiring. So that'll leave you with 10 bottles? Or 13 bottles
You need 2 bottles per pack.
Right.
next year.
Not
Legally. For OSHA, right?
So how much time do we have?
Month and a half?
Yeah, not very long.
Not even.
Yeah, it takes up to 6 to 8 weeks to receive product.
Get anything, yeah. We went over that with the salesman, even if we ordered today, it'd be 6 or 8 weeks before we get it.
It'll still be scrambled one way or another.
And it's gonna take us 2 months to borrow money possibly, plus 6 or 8 weeks to get stuff in the door.
Are there other companies you can buy equipment from?
There's different products, yes. But as far as Scott, no. It's this company.
They've got the distributor.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we wanna go with any other company.
No.
They're pretty much the standard.
And it's state bid anyways.
Right. Yeah. So that's my question is, will it's like, so I know they're pushing this February, January date. Is the state date gonna change in February?
So usually the way that works, I mean, the state goes out for a contract, they award it to a provider, and then that's to be set for 5 years, but the contract itself might have an escalator, every year the price goes up a certain amount. That's why they should be able to tell you what the price is going to be, and whenever this change over actually happens, because it shouldn't be spelled out in the state contract.
Okay.
I'll ask the question.
So another thing we don't want to do particularly, but once again, as we're trying to figure out options, if we take some more time and into budget time and we have some degree of bottle difficulty, we can buy the old bottles at full price, which is about $1,100. And if we had to do that, we could, and we were in trouble, we can buy 10 bottles for 10 grand kind of thing. It's not our first thing.
And we did talk to them and they said, well, they'll sell us the old bottles for full price. But the old bottles, if we do end up buying a new system,
They won't work on
yeah,
it.
it's more cost effective to buy the new model.
But
And we
just
had
say,
to auction off what we bought.
Yeah, they said you could sell them to another department that has the old system. So you're not gonna get $1,000 a piece, you're gonna get $150. So anyway, one thing I'm doing, I'm gonna bring up the treasurer's report, but I've got a way to analyze the budget / what you've spent a little bit easier now, so that we can hopefully find, go through your budget and everybody's budget and figure out, like Rusty's saying, what money we got, how we're looking. So we can better
We
make
can
it.
sit down and change our line items as well, so
Right.
it's clear.
Like you said, you may have some, extra here or there, see what we can come up with. Especially if we can't use the reserve account for any of it. Or have to find it somewhere else then.
Of course, I don't recall what the plan is for purchasing the fire apparatus or equipment, all that stuff and all that, but obviously there's money in this reserve for that stuff too, and all that factors into
Right.
what you choose to spend money on.
picture the cop rolling down the hill.
Do we have anything else on that?
No, I'll see if I can get those questions answered.
Yeah. And we can email them around or whatever.
I'll even ask them if there's a 5-year lease program.
Yeah.
And what those numbers are and whatnot.
Well, good numbers to have.
This guy, you guys are more welcome to contact this Blake at any time too, because he's the purchasing number guy, so.
Okay. Yeah, we can start the email.
Talking in money letters.
And we can talk about whatever we need to through email besides with Rusty. As far as questions or... So we can hopefully get a lot of questions answered. So we don't have to wait 2 weeks or that many questions. Anything else? Good. All right. Tracy?
I don't have anything.
How's phase 2 actually going?
Still on hold due to electrical issues.
Okay.
Still in design, pricing, that sort of thing.
Okay, so I haven't seen anything about their electrical reworkings. That's what I was thinking.
I've been asking for updates and not getting anything.
Is there any indication about what this is doing to the overall construction schedule then?
They're saying that they were so far ahead that this has not impacted it yet, but
Who's they? Is it the contractors or?
yes, the contractors.
Okay.
But Lobar, the general contractor, is starting to get very concerned if it gets dragged out much longer, there's going to start being some issues.
Do we have clauses? I assume we do, but do we have clauses in there penalizing them for delays in our project?
For the engineers, that's less common. Usually once you get to a stage like this, you don't have this significant of an issue pop up from a design standpoint. But that's true.
So
Alright.
I will be in contact with them this week more regarding gathering more information, just trying to get them moving forward.
That's all we can do, right?
I believe that's all we can do at this time.
I mean, we can't design the electrical. I can't anyway. I do mechanical. Is there anything else?
I don't have anything else, no.
Jeff?
I have nothing additional.
Report? You're fucking crazy on that? Read it.
Nothing,
Usually read yours with me.
You gotta add the new storm guy, Scott's been great. We've been in contact, telling us on safe buildings and stuff like that. We're gonna actually sit down and have a meeting that our new system, the tablet system, we can actually mark unsafe buildings. So we're gonna go through that, set that up. So
That's good.
he's been great so far, so.
Did you mark the bell tower?
It's not gonna come down. No, Mike, but the tower.
Right. Yeah, I gotta work on that deal.
Yeah, I mean, we had snow, didn't hear much. Everybody,
We haven't had much.
everybody went pretty good, I think. And our guys came in, so thank you guys.
That's our job.
We do.
Whoever schedules the snow continues to schedule it on the
I know.
weekends.
Can't they put it like during the
No
week,
kidding.
during the day when you're here already?
You know, you want that 4-hour call in to kick in, so.
Yeah, in a holiday,
Man,
you know, whatever.
it's only money.
That's right.
You print more every day, 7 days a week.
That's right. All right, next item is treasurer's report.
Michael, did you get hold of anybody about the Knox box yet?
Oh, yes. I actually saw Van Wagen at Price Chopper. So I got the whole story now.
Because I keep signing the paperwork and then they keep saying it needed to
Yeah, well,
be.
it keeps going, and maybe you know about this, it keeps going to Mark Warfel.
Yeah.
So Nelson Apartments, they want lock boxes so they can get in for EMS stuff or whatever. And Nelson's keep ordering it, and then they contacted the fire department is Mark Warfel.
Sounds about right. So,
And the knockbox won't change it.
Even though we've signed the paperwork because they insist this person must still be there. And he's not.
so the other day I was digging through files, and believe it or not, I found the file on Knox boxes, and he was the original contact person. So we have some Knox boxes that we want to put up as well. I've got the paperwork, I just got to get a hold of the company. It looks like it's a pretty lengthy process
Yeah.
to change that information.
That's what Jeff was on the price check I was talking to him, and he said it's a like 4-month-long process to change that. And once we get Mark to sign off on it, then it's pretty easy, I think.
Anybody reached out to Mark?
Not yet, I was going to.
Well, he just really pretty much got me because we kept getting it kicked back at us every time we did it because we've had people that have medical issues in the paint prison, as we call it, and we can't get to them because we didn't have the access.
Right.
So we made it mandatory to try to get this. So this has been a process for months for us before we realized what the holdup was because of that particular person being out of paperwork.
Jeff said the paperwork right now currently just has Mark on it. It can have up to 4 people. So you put like 2 EMS people and 2 fire people that way. Hopefully down the line somewhere, at least somebody's still around.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we were actually, how it came up is we were talking to Scott with Code, and he wanted to start pushing them on the, the refurb buildings and new buildings if anything comes up, so I did find the paperwork, so
Okay.
we'll start working on it as soon as I can.
All right.
Mr. Mayor? Yeah, is this something our legal counsel can help push on?
It sounds like Robin and the fire chief kind of have their hands around the process, which just takes a while, and apparently there's a lot of paperwork. I mean, I'm not sure if I can kick that through any faster than what they're doing.
I know Jeff Van Wagen, his recommendation was we contact Mark and
Yeah, so I can reach out to him too if I can.
Say, would you please take it?
I can too. Was it the street?
It's in the paper, but you're still authorized to sign anything.
According to them, it is.
I would think he'd have the ability to sign off.
Right.
I would hope so.
I mean, if he had the ability to sign on.
But if he's from a legal point from the village,
I mean, it kind of begs the question, how did he get to be the person signed in the first place? Which presumably would have required village board action, and shouldn't this company be satisfied that the village board passes a resolution saying this is now the person? But dealing with companies like this can be a real pain.
Yes.
And you can get Mr. Yorkful's signature. That would be, sounds like the easiest path forward.
Yeah, I gotta look into it further, because we didn't even purchase those Knox boxes, they came from Tioga County. So,
And these are ones Nelson was purchasing.
well, if he purchased his own,
Right.
it should be something different. I would
Would you
think.
use yours for his buildings? That we want to do it?
That's what they're for, is the county buildings.
Oh, the county.
Yes.
Okay. But so he uses his own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
There's
was-
a process in it. The routing goes to whoever's on our form. Who's on our form that's not, you know,
I've got it sitting on my desk, I just, that's my neighbor.
lives here, but he's not.
Obviously, my first priority is her breathing apparatus.
I can guess.
Oh, no, I think it's not, Jim. I got you.
Teamwork, there you go. All right, anyway, so we'll figure that one out. So, treasurer's report. Did my little thing on it. The only thing I did differently was the DPW budget. We got some questions out to Jan, because there's a bunch of stuff paid out of the DPW budget that wasn't necessarily in the budget, like CDBG grant and all that stuff we encumbered last year, like a mortuary roof. So we gotta figure out how to show that so it
So it doesn't
zeroes
affect
out.
us, it doesn't affect us then.
Because it looks like he blew his budget, but yeah. So if you zero all that out, you know, it comes back closer in line. Anyone else have a question to Jan about the sewer revenue? Just how to show, that shows that won't be in the report. Down to the reserve accounts.
Right, that's the money we put in the reserve accounts. They're again showing up funny, so.
Yeah. So then, any questions about the treasurer's report?
At the moment, your reserve for fire purposes, you got $206,000.
I know. Where did we go?
206, Rodney?
206 and some change, it'll be on your last page there.
Yeah.
What page you on?
The very last page.
206.
Third line down, reserve.
But then in Tracy's, he's bumped his up, he's got a reserve for sewer equipment, 407,000, 27,000 sewer preventative maintenance, 98,000 reserved for sewer plant equipment, and 156,000 capital improvement fund.
It's actually 160,000. Because you made
Yeah,
it.
I was just looking at it. That's interesting.
Jeff, yeah, he's got a lot of money.
Yeah, he's got some cemetery money.
Reserve for DPW. 128,000.
Look at you go, Jeffy.
You got it.
That's not a big. It's nice and big too. It's reserved for DPW.
Reserve for DPW is 142,000.
And we used 13,000 of it or something.
Oh, yeah, but nobody, received that.
That's what
Because we did. Doesn't mean we did.
That's a sweeper truck.
That's one of the questions I have on the budget.
So, Mr. Mayor, are we,
Sold the bill of goods.
We should.
are you comfortable with the budget? Ready?
Yeah, I mean, aside from the questions we have out to Jan, yeah.
So, move to approve the treasurer's report.
Second.
Okay, with those caveats about questions, Jen.
Any discussion on it? Fran?
Yes.
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 Yes. And I agree with Nate. We should update these names in the spreadsheet, or account names, so that they are a little more descriptive as what each account can be used for.
It could be as simple as, vehicles, equipment,
Or maybe another column.
capital buildings, just something like that.
Apparatus.
Thanks, John. Maybe another comment.
Yeah, another column. Just so you get an idea when you look at it, what you can really just use that money for instead of always asking like.
We did investigate a lot of
You
them.
didn't get a bill from Jeff Winchell for his uniform, did you? Okay, just checking.
For the vessel.
Yeah, he threatened me in the hospital. Just checking. I need a new one. I reached my hands too.
All right, next item is the meeting minutes. So we have two sets of meeting minutes from our 1/6 meeting and from our 1/13 work session.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the minutes from the January 13th, 2020 work session.
Second that.
Okay,
Yes.
pretty easy minutes. Brandon? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Stay.
Yes. Anybody's wondering, there's nothing wrong with it. We started it, we had a discussion, and we ended it. We have the minutes from last board meeting, January 6th.
Move we approve the minutes from January 6th, 2020.
Second.
Anybody have any?
You gotta wait for them to finish.
Before around over this Saturday.
We have to get our voice heard somehow,
All this side of the table.
because they don't have to finish the term.
We're gonna switch up next week.
Quick on that.
Anybody got a problem?
Is there any discussion about the minutes? Brandon?
Yes. Second.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, next item is communications. We got a whole bunch of them. Well, let's start with this one. So we got a, what do you call this, flyer from the Courier asking us if we would like to, it must like read our minds, if we would like to run an ad that asks people to shovel their sidewalks and reminds them that there's a law. They're proposing that it's, an ad this size is $48.
Put it on Facebook, we all read it.
Yeah.
So for the non-Facebook users.
We know the law.
Trust in me.
Rest of the
So I don't know if you guys want to do this? Pass it around. Make copies of it.
That doesn't need to.
Nice to
When it's ready available.
yeah, well, usually they do.
We usually run that like that.
Put it on
It's free.
And obviously, you have the military too.
There's a bunch of new.
What else we got?
What did you show right now?
Mine was, I'm gonna go there.
The ones in our
What else we got while we're thinking about that one?
All right, so we got a letter from the judge that every year we have to audit his records. So we got the letter that says it's time to audit his records. So at least one of us has to go there and do it.
What you normally do is get a person or two and they go do it for the bucks.
Right. Here he says it doesn't take long.
We want to do it.
Does anybody want to do it?
Yeah, that sounds like a riot. I have no idea what I'm looking
Court
for.
That
records.
sounds like mine, yes.
I think you just volunteered.
I know what I'm doing. Just verify that they exist, and I'm really not certain what the job would be.
I'm sure they'll tell us. Sure, yeah.
I think it's much more related to the financial records, just kind of the ins and the outs of the dollars.
Yeah, they have their own, the tickets and whatever, you just kind of balance out, make sure the ins and outs are good.
Who did it last year?
Are you gonna do it tonight?
I did.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay. Ron and I will do it.
Okay.
Ryan?
Whenever you guys get time, I mean, there's no real, like, hard deadline.
Time's another issue.
I know last year took a while. I mean, the audit didn't, me getting there didn't. What else we got? Oh, we got this thing from Team Tioga. They're having Bringing a Vision to Life, a 30-year journey, Thursday, January 30th, from 8 to 9:30 a.m. at the Terracotta, which used to be the Treadway. Join us to celebrate the history and accomplishments of Team Tioga over the past 30 years. It's a breakfast, everyone wants to go. Free. At the RSVP.
What day is it?
Yeah, I got it. Hold on.
Thursday, January 30th.
Any of our people attended Team Tioga before? Not attended this, I meant to be part of the group.
But, yeah.
I went to it. The thing where you sign up and be a big fan.
Team Tioga is the county, economic development.
Those ones helped us get the DRI.
Leanne and her crew. So anyway. Oh, right, the leadership Tioga, yeah, that's different. That just started up too. The NICOM legislative program, that's February 8th, 9th, 10th, something like that. I'm gonna go represent us.
That's like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah. This one's not really like a training class, it's more of to get our voice heard. NICOM is gonna look at issues. One big thing is the criminal justice reform there.
The bail at Discovery, et cetera.
Yeah. And they're mainly focused on the discovery end of it. Discovery end of it is going to cost municipalities like ours, like we were just talking about budgets and everything. It's going to cost us a ton of money. So, unless it gets changed. So, there's a lot of hooks in that law that are well crazy. So. And we also got this letter from the parks lady, so we can close out the old cemetery grant.
Right.
We'll get that done.
What is that?
The grant that we got for the cemetery that didn't get used, we need to, she sent us an email how we close it out so that we don't mess up on
We don't get punished for that, not doing that, so we need to do that.
Correct.
soon.
Yeah, we have to send her a letter. This closed out basically, and then we didn't use it.
Brief explanation as to why.
You want this then?
Gotta come from somebody more powerful than me.
Oh, you get paid for the big bucks here.
And then, so the last thing we got was from the hose team. They are looking to build, so their next project, right, they finished the, they want their next project to be, this looks much better now, color, steamer house. Oh, Rodney said make copies for everybody.
Did we get a copy of this?
I printed out.
Okay, so you guys.
So they want to raise money and build a steamer house, put our steamer in. And in fact, there's a lot of history, verbiage on the history of the steamer. We paid $4,500 for it back in 1865. Which is a lot of money, 1865.
So the hose company wants to, would like to use a piece of the pit property, either in conjunction with us or somehow with Steve Lounsbury or, and possibly that barber shop piece that he's bought or going to buy on the corner. Anyways, that's where they'd like to put this thing, next to Station 2. I talked to Pat Gavin about it today to see if he would like us to try to do something along with the DRI for that park with this, and he didn't seem real interested. They seem, which is fine. They want to raise they think this is going to take around $100,000 to get a building and to repair the steamer, et cetera, et cetera. And they seem to want to go out and get the money to do it. They don't even want to be involved necessarily with the DRI. And it doesn't mean that that's how it'll end up, but. And they're also, when we were talking about, one of the things that might be good for us would be to get the bell out of that bell tower up over the station. They have some interest in possibly, with their original thought of putting Steamers building, making it a little bigger than that and putting the bell in that building.
Yeah, the one they sent a picture of actually has a bell.
Oh, it's got, I don't know if that's supposed to be our bell at the top, but they're talking about putting the bell in the building like the Liberty Bell and keeping it pretty nice. I don't store it or something. Yeah, I don't know what the plan is exactly. So they kind of want, certainly, they're going to want some kind of encouragement from us,
Right.
whether or not we may not be ready to.
Steve Lonsberry bought that barbershop property, and he intends on giving it to the village as long as we can give him a right of way to his property.
Off from North Avenue?
Off North Avenue, yes. There's a driveway there right now, it's got a fence in front of it. We now own it as part of the pit, so.
We talked about that, and there's a, but where the old house used to be, there's a fenced-in area there now. Is that part of ours, or is that part of what he owns?
It's part of the pit.
It's part of the pit.
Yeah, pit's not squared.
Well, if the pit's not square, then that means that piece of property isn't in the pit, the piece that's inside the fence there next to the barber shop. So we got the barber shop
It's
property.
part of the same property.
The pit is actually what, 4 properties?
Okay, so one way or the other, somebody, either that's part of the pit property, that piece inside the chain link fence there, or it's something that Steve already owns.
Or it's part of the barber shop.
I think he may, it's not part of the barber shop, I think he may already own that piece.
Right.
And so what he wants a way to the back of his building.
From North Ave.
From North Ave, and if I could draw it for you, he owns back behind his building into the pit, the property that would be behind the barber shop, and he also then owns down at the bottom of the pit another, let's say, 10 or 12 feet that would come behind that part that's closed in with the fence. If he could come up with that part of the fence there, that part of the fence property from the 12 feet of his back, and then have a cut or something so he could get into that property from there on North Avenue, he might be willing to do something with the barber shop property, because he bought that so he could get down there. But